say, every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they watch you.
And for corruption.
Break the...
Welcome to the 20th anniversary series of Corruption Must Go, ICPC's weekly television program. I am Murna Barnabas Atiai. The judiciary, it is said, is the last hope of the common man. Its primary responsibility to interpret and apply the laws in addition to resolving disputes between two or more parties is incontestable. The judiciary punishes any conduct that it is at variance with the expectations of the law of the land and awards penalties for breaking such laws in order to ensure a fair and orderly society. One prominent area of criminal law deals with corrupt practices which have become pervasive in Nigeria and thus require stiff laws and penal sanctions. ICPC, as the primary agency set up to rid Nigeria of all forms of corruption and corrupt practices, therefore, needs to work with the judiciary in the prevention of corruption in Nigeria. Dear viewers, this provides a fitting backdrop for our focus on today's edition, which is Together with the Judiciary Against Corruption.
Welcome to this segment on anti-corruption stories. I am Ruth Awudi. The head of payroll department of the Federal Medical Center FMC Bida, Niger State, Sadiq A. Sadiq, has been arraigned before Honorable Justice Abdullahi Mikailu of High Court 4, sitting in Mina, Niger State, by ICPC for allegedly inserting names of 3 ghost workers into the payroll of the medical center. Also arraigned before the trial judge were the head of internal audit, Awesu M. Bababida, and one Ihioma Miriam, a staff of the center. In a 3-count charge, the court was informed of how the trio colluded to use the ghost workers' names and siphon monies to the tune of 17.5 million naira into personal use, knowing very well that the 3 names never existed. The accused persons were also charged for using their position to confer corrupt advantage upon themselves. All of the accused persons entered a not guilty plea when the charges preferred against them were read to them. Counsel to the defendants, therefore, by way of a written application, prayed the court to grant his client's bail, which was not opposed by the prosecution counsel. Justice Mikailu granted the accused bail in the sum of 5 million naira each. They were also ordered to individually provide 2 sureties with evidence of ownership of landed properties worth 5 million naira each within the jurisdiction of the court, in addition to surrendering their travel documents. The matter was adjourned for commencement of hearing. In another development, ICPC, in collaboration with the Department of State Services (DSS) and Federal Road Safety Commission (FRSC), has arrested 25 officials of Vehicle Inspection Office (VIO), FRSC, Motor Vehicle Licensing Authority (MVLA), and other persons in connection with driver's license and vehicle particulars fraud in Lagos State. The operation was conducted in Ikeja, Shomolu, Etiosa, and Anthony Driver's License Centers. Other places were Ojo, Oshodi, University of Lagos, Surulere, Agege, and coca centers in Lagos State. The commission received information that the officials connive with touts to extort extra fees from applicants before their driver's licenses and vehicles particulars are processed. Various sums of money and several incriminating documents and equipment were retrieved from the suspects during the operation. The officials have been granted administrative bail by the commission and would be arraigned in court when investigations have been concluded. This exercise is a continuous one, and similar operations will be carried out in other centers in order to rid motor licensing administration of fraud being perpetrated on the public. That will be all on this segment. Corruption Must Go continues with Muna. Stay with us.
As we observe safety measures, and support our health and frontline workers in fighting COVID-19, corruption, abuse of power, diversion, and misuse of public funds approved for mitigating the impact of coronavirus must be exposed. Be a coronavirus whistleblower. Report abuse in the management of COVID-19 fund and palliative to ICPC on toll-free number 0800 2255 4272 or AfricMail on 0811 877 1666. Email tips@corruptionanonymous.org. This message is from the African Center for Media and Information Literacy, AfricMail, in partnership with ICPC, supported.
If you're just tuning in, this is Corruption Must Go. Section 61, subsection 3 of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000 acknowledges the role of the judiciary as the body responsible for trying and making decisions on cases involving bribery, corruption, fraud, or other related offences. However, if the judiciary fails to carry out this function to the letter, impunity sets in. In recognition of this indisputable role of the judiciary, the Commission, as far back as 2002, held its first national conference organized under the pioneer chairman of ICPC, Justice Mustafa Akombi of blessed memory, the National Bar and Bench Conference. 18 years later, the current board of the Commission, knowing how synergy plays an important role in the fight against corruption, shortly on assumption of office, paid a courtesy visit to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, to seek for his assistance in tackling corruption in the country.
Anti-corruption agencies will continue to resist while acting within the boundary of the law, but it is often sometimes just confounding that very obvious decisions of the Supreme Court, which are presented before the courts, are ignored in an effort to try and circumvent a clear position. Secondly, my Lord, I want to urge the Supreme Court to continue to prioritize corruption cases in accordance with its practice directions, I think it's 2013, given what we all know now that corruption poses to Nigeria as an existential problem for us. The NJC should also firmly encourage and ensure that states designate judges to focus and prioritize corruption cases.
Essentially, your commission is fighting against corruption. Now, the judiciary must, especially the Supreme Court, is all out to give you a helping hand in trying to see that all traces of corruption, wherever they be, whether in the executive, in the legislature, or even in the judiciary itself, if we have proper report, certainly will take action, whether administratively or if it comes to us through the operation of the judicial system.
Also, as part of that partnership and an acknowledgement of the important role of the judiciary in the anti-corruption effort, the ICPC chairman, Professor Bolaji Owasonye, paid another visit to the Chief Judge of the Federal Capital Territory, Justice Ishak Bello, to seek for speedy conclusion of corruption cases. That visit was indeed a beautiful one, as His Lordship, Justice Ishak Bello, promised to designate 12 new judges out of the 32 new judges coming on board, mainly for adjudication of corruption cases.
First, I would say that after I resumed at ICPC, I paid a somewhat informal visit to my Lord and discussed one or two of the things that I'm about to discuss. And my Lord graciously acted, one of which was to designate judges, which you did within 1 week. And I reported back to the board of ICPC and the management that you had delegated some judges. I have that list in my pocket. However, we continue to have some challenges, sir. And I felt that a conversation of this nature would help to resolve some of those issues. The first is the prioritization of ICPC cases in accordance with the FCT 2013 practice directions and also Section 63 of our own statute, that because of the opportunity cost of corruption globally, criminal justice tries to prioritize some kinds of cases, and in Nigeria, corruption is one of those cases, recognized both by law and by practice directions. But we would like to see these actualized, not just in theory, but in practice, my Lord.
The issue of roll orders not coming in good time, I believe it is something that is also worth looking into that. You know, and of course you have acknowledged a while ago that this court is known for its continuous process of improving the system. And I assure you, this one, I would summon a meeting of those involved in drafting orders and who are supposed to send to different directions in order to address the issue once and for all. Not quite long, we made sure that payment of fees for processes are only done through bank. We don't even receive cash here. So for anybody to demand cash from a lawyer or any litigant is absolutely out of the way. We have a bank there where we do this. We even engage some service providers for the purpose of such documentation to enhance probity and sense of transparency. But all the same, as I said, we'll continue to ensure that the proper thing is done at all times. The issue of dedication of judges, which you had already said would fly in tributes, I want to assure you that once we are done with the appointment of new judges, I'm having 32 now coming on board. I will dedicate 12 out of the 32 mainly for the adjudication on, well, predominantly on adjudication regarding the corruption cases. This is intended to see that we create an avenue for expeditious handling and disposal of such cases.
Also, as part of this renewed partnership with the judiciary, very recently, The Commission, in collaboration with the National Judicial Institute (NJI), organized a capacity-building training for judges to show up their knowledge on emerging corruption matters and asset recovery. While delivering his keynote address, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Mohammed Ibrahim Tanko, CFR, said the forum will afford participants the opportunity to discuss salient issues on the requisite procedures in asset tracing and recovery.
The judiciary. In the light of the foregoing, this workshop, I believe, is designed, among other things, to acquaint participants with emerging developments on asset recovery proceedings. It is also apt in the face of new legal developments and ethical challenges that digitalization and globalization bring to the fight against corruption. I am convinced that this forum will afford stakeholders the opportunity to dialogue on current and emerging issues related to tracing of foreign assets acquired with the proceeds of looted funds, thereby availing us an indelible opportunity to discuss salient issues arising from the requisite procedure for the seizure and forfeiture of same.
Earlier in his welcome address, the chairman of ICPC, Professor Bolaji Owasonye, said the collaborative effort between ICPC and NJI was providential as it coincides with Nigeria's 60th anniversary themed Together, therefore necessitating the importance of unitedly dealing with the challenges of corruption for optimum results.
We're quite delighted that the theme is Together, and it gives us a great opportunity to collaborate with the judicial arm of government towards dealing with a challenge that affects all of us. This collaboration between the ICPC and the judiciary is to be expected. The foundational chairman of the ICPC, the distinguished but late Honorable Justice Mustafa Akombi, was a member of the judiciary. His successor, the distinguished Honorable Justice Emmanuel Ayola, very much still alive, also from the judiciary. So we have a connection and roots with the judiciary. My Lord, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, was a special guest at one of the 20th anniversary celebrations of the ICPC, most notably the Second National Summit on Diminishing Corruption in the Public Service. My Lord, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, reiterated the determination and the readiness of the judiciary not only to fight corruption, but to collaborate with other arms of government in doing so. Systemic corruption does not leave out any arm or level of government. And indeed, corruption has also prevented the state from meeting the welfare needs, not just of people in the executive, but also people in the judicial arm of government. On the other hand, we know that corruption has also infiltrated virtually every arms of government and weakened institutions internally, thus affecting both administration and sometimes judicial functions from being effectively and efficiently performed. In order to deal with the existential threat that corruption poses to the stability of the state, we must work together. And this is why ICPC is quite delighted to be collaborating with the judiciary on this activity, which is reinforcing the capacity of the judiciary as a vital stakeholder in the fight against corruption.
While delivering her remarks, the Administrator of NJI, Honorable Justice Roslyn Bozimo, OFR, expressed the hope that the workshop would avail participants the opportunity to discuss salient issues arising from fighting corruption holistically, especially in the area of confiscation of the proceeds of corruption.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, this workshop affords stakeholders the opportunity to dialogue on current and emerging issues related to tracing of local and foreign assets acquired with the proceeds of looted funds. As such, the forum avails us the opportunity to discuss salient issues arising from the requisite procedure for the seizure and forfeiture of same. It is my hope that this workshop will in no small measure aid justices and judges in the proper adjudication and resolution of lingering cases pertaining to confiscation proceedings. The forum is dynamic as it aims to enrich the capacity of the judiciary towards combating corruption in all its ramifications. To this end, this workshop avails us an opportunity to discuss important issues pertaining to the fight against corruption, and also to serve to appraise the benefits and recent gains of the fight against corruption by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC. In addition, the workshop provides a platform to engage stakeholders towards the successful implementation of proposed roadmaps to combat money laundering and looting of public funds in accordance with the rule of law, good governance, and due process.
The attention of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) has been drawn to the act of some unscrupulous persons who illegally and fraudulently extort money from unsuspecting Nigerians to obtain a so-called clearance certificate from the Commission. ICPC would like to clearly state that it does not have nor does it issue certificate of clearance, and therefore it does not charge fees for any such certificates. Members of the public are hereby warned to be careful and suspicious of any request for payment of clearance fees and offers of procuring a certificate of clearance. Report any such to ICPC by email on info@icpc.gov.ng. Our toll-free number 0800 2255 4272 or any of the social media platforms showing on the screen.
The judiciary, no doubt, is seemingly indispensable to the anti-corruption crusade. However, it is important to note that the criminal justice option works only where there is a societal culture that abhors criminality, and in particular, corruption. A culture of lawlessness in the society weakens the value of the courts in the fight against corruption. Similarly, instances abound where the corrupt have been celebrated by society even after conviction by the courts. All these are manifestations of a people who have not truly resolved to fight corruption, who only condemn corruption in words but accept it in their conduct. That's our package on this week's edition. You can make reports, suggestions, and enquiries via our toll-free numbers as shown on the screen. You can also watch the program on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/ICPC Nigeria. Thank you for watching. See you again next week.